Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Connie Rose, and it is my honor and privilege tonight to be with you guys. Thank you for showing up. I know there's lots of places you can be, and that you chose your time to be here with us. That means a lot to us. It is my honor and privilege to get to introduce you to Miss Wendy Brennan. Miss Wendy Brennan is now a dear friend of mine. I did not know her hardly at all 2 years ago when she had heard about the software, and I got to show her a little bit about the AO scan. And since then, she has grown. It's been a joy to watch her grow so much as a leader, as someone, as a presenter and educator. And she's just been blossoming and doing some amazing things. She has invested over 100 hours into this presentation you're going to see tonight on the history and the science of quantum physics, and which is the basis of the work that we do. And so you're really going to enjoy this. And I'm going to be quiet so that Wendy could take over and share all this amazing things with you. Thank you. Thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Connie. Thank
doing
you.
all this, Wendy.
Absolutely. Labor of love. I just, every time I learn something new, I cannot wait to share it. So this is my about seventh iteration. Okay, so again, I think everybody knows me. I'm not sure, but I'm Wendy Brennan. I'm a frequency wellness provider, and I use a state-of-the-art scanner to facilitate the delivery of frequency to human and animal bodies. The topic of our discussion tonight is using biofield tuning as part of a holistic approach to correct energetic balances. And we will fully explain what a biofield is and the benefits of biofield tuning. It can be done easily and effectively by a practitioner or by acquiring software so that you can do it yourself. We'll also be talking a lot about the science and the history behind frequency wellness in order to edify and bolster um, the really cool things that we're going to be talking about and sharing with you tonight. Please note, this is our foundational discussion for you to understand what we do and why we do it. When we get to the end here, if you'd like to seek further information for anything specific regarding the software we use, if you want a frequency session for yourself, or for any questions you have, we're going to offer Q&A at the end. For privacy, we are going to turn off the recording at that point for Q&A. And then the other option is you can reach out to the person who invited you to this call later. And we'll also announce our next event that follows this. It's kind of a follow-up to the one I'm doing tonight. It goes a little bit deeper into the software modules and the company that supports the software. Okay, so let's get into our presentation. You know yourself best as a biochemical and biomechanical being. You spend time thinking about how to take care of your body in the sense of how you need to feed it good quality food and take high vibrational nutritional supplements. And I'm sure you also spend time thinking about how to keep your body fit and strong because you know a body in motion stays in motion. Now, let me tell you about another aspect of you that has its own intelligence and communicates with your chemical and mechanical nature, and that is your bioelectrical body. That's not to be confused with the electricity that runs your nervous system. Your biofield is a field of energy that surrounds and permeates your body and is produced by your heart. This creates a toroidal field, which you see here, that can be measured and is a very important governor of your health. If your biofield is weak and compromised, your health will be weak and compromised because it's essentially a communication system. Unlike machines, all living organisms have an immense network of internal and external interconnections across which information flows to modulate life functions. And the continuous exchange of information in living systems to maintain their integrity is mind-boggling. That's why we call our body the miracle, right? It's amazing. The latest research from some of the most respected institutions is now confirming what ancient civilizations have long since known, that we all have a personal energy field. It was once called the aura, and in the past, you just kind of be dismissed if you wanted to talk to people about their aura. People, except your tribe, like the people that believed in that, there were very few at the time, but they would just consider you kind of hippie woo-woo, or just didn't take you seriously. But now that science has gotten involved in it, they can measure everything. They have a new term for it. So amongst frequency wellness practitioners and academia, the updated term for aura is now collectively agreed upon as Biofield and is presented as such in published research papers. Biofield science is gaining traction in integrative health circles because there is increasing interest in how intention, coherence, and consciousness may influence the biofield, possibly even at the quantum level. The concept of biofield regulation offers a shift from a mechanical, chemistry-based view of biology to an information-based view. And modern day scientists are discovering some pretty fascinating things about how your biofield communicates information to all your body systems. Eileen McCusick, author of The Human Biofield, has been working with frequency for 30 years. She discovered that your biofield has a specific physiology and anatomy. Scientific studies done at the highest levels are bearing this out. She tells us our biofield holds our thoughts and feelings, and it's where our memory is stored. Like, who knew? We thought it was all up in our head, right? It is your subconscious. Therefore, it is your sense of self. We know that our subconscious mind drives our actions. What if we have been employing willpower when all we needed to do was figure out how to clean up our biofield so that our subconscious mind delivers that to us which we say we want in the areas of physical, mental, and emotional health? This is truly amazing information. I'm so happy I can share all of my discoveries with you. It took me a fair amount of time to make all these connections. I've been doing this talk since 2024, so we're like right at a year, and this is my 7th iteration because I keep having these big aha moments. And watching a video with this Eileen McCusick gal that just changed everything for me. I think this presentation here is about 70% new. So along the way, I have discovered that in addition to my joy of helping people, being a practitioner of frequency, I also love being an educator. I'm really jazzed by this idea that we're on the forefront of something as impactful as what I have seen our technology be. I've seen our technology do amazing things the night Connie introduced it to me and my husband. Like, that's a story in and of itself. That's why I got involved. But I'm telling you, we've worked on hundreds of people, and there are people on our teams who've worked with hundreds of people, and the stories are fantastic. And that just really keeps me jazzed and going. So I get to share this technology with my clients, and then I get excited that perhaps in the future I'll be able to lock arms with like-minded people who also want to use the technology with their own families. And I'm hoping this presentation opens up a whole new world of thought for you about how our universe actually behaves and how humans and animals can interact with universal laws to their best advantage. It's an exciting time to be able to play a part in complementary medicine and integrative wellness solutions because we can take such a proactive approach to it and make drastic changes for ourselves, not depend on others. And it seems to me more than ever that people are ready to engage in self-education and enter into more conscious living by exploring holistic healthcare and taking a proactive approach to self-care. Now, Western medicine has many good attributes, but by design, it deals in individual parts and it does not attend to the whole. So that has become a huge problem as we've learned over time. So finally, the time has arrived where scientific and empirical evidence are revealing the impact that energy medicine has on our bioelectrical bodies. Biofield imbalances that are not addressed could lead to physical pain or some other symptom over time. In point of fact, a majority of chronic diseases actually begin with an emotional event, and then those emotions get stored in your biofield as stuck energy. Energy practitioners know how to move stuck energy, tune up your biofield, clear the chaos, and allow your body to get into a coherent state. As a result, your overall vibration rises and your cells communicate better. The software technology I use with my clients employs sound frequency, radionics, and scalar energy. Neither I nor the technology is doing the healing. Your body is the healer, designed that way by our creator. And if you're thinking, well, my body is not working so well right now, I understand. We've had many years for our electromagnetic bodies to encounter multiple disruptions and manifest unwelcome states of being. We just need to silence the chaos that brought you to that non-coherent state And a very efficient way of doing that is by applying gentle sound and scalar frequencies.
Hey, Wendy.
So,
Oh, never mind. I
pardon?
was going to say the slides were not going, but now I see Tesla. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That was a long one on Eileen there. American inventor Nikola Tesla, a pioneer of electrical technology, said, if you could eliminate certain outside frequencies that interfered in our bodies, we would have a greater resistance toward disease. Frequencies have either a healing or a weakening effect on our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Our environment has been subjected to ever-growing amounts of electromagnetic pollution due to industrialization and technological development, and this interferes with our body's ability to stay in sync with Earth's natural vibrations. This interference can negatively affect the body's immune system, energy levels, and sleep quality, and it could be one of the reasons why so many people often feel stressed and anxious. There are many types of pollutants that can lower healthy body frequency. Processed food would be one of them. It's a dead food. It has a very low vibrational frequency since the enzymes have been destroyed in the process of making it. And then when you consider the pollutants that we're breathing, the toxicity in our soil, our cleaning products, makeup, and hygiene products, not to mention stress, if you're involved in toxic relationships or stressful careers, I mean, it can be overwhelming, and it really has been for some people. But the good news is that the situations we are subjected to that allow for the progression of mounting stress in the body, which then leads to inflammation and then to disease, that can be changed, transmuted through the application of electromagnetic waves carrying very specific signature frequencies and used in very specific way. Now, frequency wellness is a form of energy medicine using specific frequencies delivered from an energy carrier that derives its strength and effectiveness from an invisible energy network called the quantum field, and it transmits healing signals without requiring physical contact. The use of frequency for supporting wellness is the cutting edge of complementary health modalities and refers to a type of wellness service that was actually developed in the early 1900s, and it was based on this idea of resonance and vibration. Frequency wellness is a broad term, and it can encompass sound therapy, light therapy, color therapy, and even directed scalar energy waves. Again, either in person or it can be done remotely. Intention is the secret sauce to much of what we do. So when you transmit scalar energy to someone through our technology and you're clear on your intention, their biofield will receive it. In physics, there are 4 fundamental forces in nature. We're going to focus on the electromagnetic force because it's the dominant force in the interaction of atoms and molecules and that which our bodies and universe are comprised of. We are electromagnetic beings living in an electromagnetic environment, and we emit frequency outward to our environment, and we also receive it from our environment. And how far out your field of energy goes depends on how high your overall frequency is. We do affect one another with our biofield, which I'm sure makes a lot of sense to you if you recall ever walking up to someone and immediately just feeling really uncomfortable, or perhaps the opposite. Perhaps you were immediately drawn to someone. All right, so now we're going to get into the metaphysical stuff. This is really, really interesting and fun stuff. If you've studied it, you know that. And if you haven't, hold on tight. It's really cool. Our universe is comprised of the quantum field. And this is a place full of possibilities that acts in extraordinary ways that are hard to explain, for it's an invisible yet intelligent energy field. And get this, in the quantum field, thoughts and emotions impact reality. So we were taught Newtonian physics there on the left, right? And this is the quantum physics over here. So this has been proven in the double slit experiment, which describes the behavior of matter and energy at the atomic and subatomic levels. That study revealed that particles can exhibit both wave-like and particle-like duality in light and matter, and it all depends on the observer. So yes, real Star Trek stuff happens when you're dealing with the quantum field. Since we were taught classical Newtonian physics in school and not quantum physics, this can take a little bit of time to wrap your mind around. But we've seen the effects of it. We just know it works. We use it and it works, and that's that. But let's go ahead and talk about scalar energy waves. Scalar fields are mathematical constructs that describe the behavior of certain particles within the quantum framework. These waves are superluminal, which means they move faster than the speed of light. They are unbounded by the limitations of 3D space, and they move through the empty space between all matter. You can think of it as nature's Wi-Fi. It's a subtle, nonlinear energy that influences matter without needing direct force. It's different than sound waves because sound waves need vibratory force to produce sound. Excuse me, 1 second, I'll take a drink. Since the human body is made up of atoms and molecules, just like the universe, it makes sense that our bodies would function according to the laws of nature that govern the universe, right? So Dr. Tennant says every cell in the body can be seen as a tiny battery with its own voltage. Dr. Jerry Tennant, in his book, Healing His Voltage, excuse me. Goodness. He tells us that our DNA has its own battery using scalar energy. DNA and scalar energy in the same sentence seems important. Maybe we should be paying close attention. I feel like I need to mute myself and cough really hard. All right, I'm back. I coughed up a lung. I'm all right. Okay, so I love Tesla, and I'm going to be quoting him a lot. His most famous quote is, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And there's another word I want you to talk about that I want to talk about, and that is resonance. When referring to a biological body, resonance is the amplification of cellular vibration through related cells, tissues, organs, and systems. Resonance can amplify good vibrations cell by cell to restore balance. Through the use of resonance theory, a sound practitioner can influence cellular vibration and therefore cellular communication to stimulate well-being and healing. This occurs by playing sounds that oscillate at a particular frequency in an effort to synchronize with the frequency of the body. Is anyone here a musician? When you hear the words oscillate and synchronize, you may think of a metronome. You can put multiple metronomes side by side, moving at different speeds, and in a short time, they're going to sync up with one another perfectly. So if the frequencies in your biofield become chaotic and you want to get them synchronized with frequencies of perfect design, would you know how to do that? It won't surprise you that the easiest way I have found is to listen to the tones and the frequencies coming from our software. They allow for the chaotic frequencies to sync up with the perfect blueprint frequencies offered, 170,000 to be exact, and they are specifically curated for you to receive. You are now getting proper cell-to-cell communication, and it's brilliant. W. Ross 80, a distinguished neurology professor who had a 50-year career in electromagnetic field research, once said, cells maintain their organized society by whispering together in a faint and private language. The whispers travel as chemical, electromagnetic, electronic, photonic, thermal, and sound messages. And speaking of sound, all frequency makes sound, but humans cannot hear all sounds. The best example is a dog whistle with a pitch so high we don't hear it, but our dogs can. Humans and animals can sometimes feel sounds they cannot hear. This is particularly true for very low frequency sounds called infrasounds. Infrasounds are below the hearing threshold but can be felt as vibrations. The human body receives these low frequency sounds through vibrotactile perception, where the entire body acts as a receptor for sound waves, not just the ears. This is one of the reasons why, even though you may not be able to audibly pick up a frequency from our software, it's still impactful. If infrasound is low frequency, what do you think high frequency is called? It's ultrasound. So frequency is an important parameter used in science and engineering to specify the rate of vibratory phenomena. Can you think of other vibratory phenomena that is measured by frequency? I mentioned it earlier, but I don't know if you've retained that. We talked about light. Light is the technical term for light is electromagnetic radiation. Light also communicates with our cells, and the natural light of the sun is the very best form of electromagnetic radiation you can give to your body. It is like healthy food for your biofield. And did you know that different colors have different frequencies also? The frequency of light determines its color. And here's the anatomical reason that sound works so well on your body. You have a nerve in your head called the vagus nerve. It's a two-way information highway to your brain, instructing the biochemistry of your body in every moment. It has two main functions. First, to check and make sure all of your organs are functioning properly, and then to restore and repair. And then second, it kickstarts your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your anti-stress, rest, and digest response. It controls involuntary activities such as increasing the rate of gastric emptying and stimulating acid production when needed. Aren't you glad you don't have to think about all these millions of things that are going on in your body all at once? It'd be really hard to focus on anything else. And I don't want you to ever forget about your vagus nerve. I've come to believe that it's vital that we understand this powerhouse nerve and appreciate all it does for us. We should know about it and want to take care of it. It is the longest cranial nerve of the 12 you have, and it starts from your brain and travels down each side of your neck like a net. And it encompasses all your major organs: brainstem, skull, neck, chest, heart, lungs, abdomens, and intestines. You see why I call it a powerhouse. Damage to the vagus nerve can cause pain in the neck, as well as other symptoms such as voice issues, throat problems, increased heart rate, brain fog, gut problems, tinnitus, and much more. The damage is generally caused by inflammation, as most things, right? Everything seems to start from inflammation. So we want to prevent inflammation best we can. But with the vagus nerve, the damage is generally inflammation from viruses and toxic heavy metals. And that is where frequency practitioners can help. We can apply heavy metal and virus detox frequencies to lessen that inflammation. So when I was very new, I treated a client over the phone who had passed out from vagal nerve issues, but the paramedics thought he passed out on the street. The ambulance was called. The paramedics thought he had a heart attack, and they were giving him CPR. His head and neck were so sore from being, pounded on the concrete like that. And of course, his chest was really bruised after all that manipulation they did on his chest. But this is a great story that also demonstrates synchronicity. So I called my friend only to find out that her husband was in the hospital and in a lot of pain. I was pretty new with frequency work, and I hadn't talked to her in a little while, so I had to catch her up on it. And I offered to help him. And she was all in. She's quite metaphysical, so she passed the information along. But he really didn't believe that I could help him. So he just kind of brushed it off. When he got home, his pain was really quite intense. So he started thinking, well, what do I really have to lose? It's worth a try. I live an hour and a half away from them. So we did this over the phone. And I had done that once before, but he was the second person I was working with over the phone. And both were highly successful stories. But when done with him, I texted my friend to go back and check on her husband. I already knew he liked it because during the process, he was going, wow. And he was describing it with all this like a blended disbelief and fascination at the same time of what was happening. And so I knew he was impressed. But anyway, she came back and she said, oh my gosh, we just think this is amazing. How can we get it? And I said, do you mean like now you want to get it? She goes, right now. And I said, well, get to your computer. And it only took like 10 minutes. I had her enrolled and she's still using her software to this day. So that's just one of many fabulous stories I can tell you. We do archive our scanner stories at our public Telegram testimonies page. This is the link. If you have trouble finding it, just ask the person who's sharing this with you. We can send you a link that you can click on and make it easy. Sometimes people find it, sometimes they don't. I'm not really sure why that is. But Connie and I are very proud of the many testimonies that you'll see there because they come from people that we assisted in their learning journey to the point that they then had the confidence and the knowledge they needed to go help others. And now they're teaching the people that they help. So it's really been truly beautiful to watch it spread. It's a lot of fun, and it's not difficult to learn the basics to get started. You can do great things with the basics. A lot of my favorite stories come from when I was new and I really didn't know very much at all. I just believed in the frequencies because I know what they had done for us. And I certainly didn't have the procedural checklist that I have now. And it's a lot easier for people to get started now because they have something they can really follow and have confidence in. But in time, we just simply we keep layering on more knowledge and we're figuring out new things and getting good results, and we just keep growing in our confidence. Okay, so let's talk about our first scientist. Take note, this is the mid 1800s. Now, James Clerk Maxwell's quantitative connection between light and electromagnetism is considered one of the great accomplishments of 19th century physics. His discoveries laid the foundation for such fields as special relativity and quantum mechanics and established electromagnetism as the second universal force. Maxwell's work was a strong influence for modern-day quantum scientists such as Max Planck, Albert Einstein, and Nikola Tesla. And in the 1920s, electromagnetism became a central player in quantum chemistry and has been more recently described as, quote, controlling all chemical reactions, including life itself, unquote. I mean, it just sounds really important, doesn't it? So Tesla said our entire biological system, the brain and the earth itself, work on the same frequencies. So everything vibrates. On a quantum level, everything is vibrating at various frequencies, and these vibrations influence our life in subtle yet profound ways. Planet Earth has what's known as a natural or fundamental frequency called the Schumann resonance. I've heard it referred to as the heartbeat of the Earth. It's around 7.83 hertz. And the Schumann resonances are quasi-standing electromagnetic waves that exist in the space between the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere. The Schumann resonance surrounds and protects all living things on the planet. As Tesla said, the Earth's natural frequency matches our brain's relaxed state. Scientific studies show that the human brain reaches its ultimate potential for health and wellness when it resonates with the Earth's frequency of 7.83 hertz, which is slightly elevated from the theta brainwave state. Imagine if we were all able to maintain this relaxed state of mind all the time. It might be what's referred to as heaven on earth. You've heard that, or being in the flow. I think people would just be functioning at a very high level. Staying in sync with the Earth's natural frequency can positively affect physical and mental health, daily performance, and promote overall well-being. And this is why grounding or anchoring yourself to the earth with bare feet is recommended. Okay, so let's talk about the history of sound therapy. It goes back thousands of years and dates back to the time of ancient Greece and Egypt. So here on the left, we have the Egyptian ankh and the sistrum. They're both sound instruments. Archaeologists have found a lot of ancient sound instruments in the many healing temples in Egypt and Greece. We also know now that pyramids were not created to be crypts for the pharaohs. Nope, they found out the way they're positioned in the sky, that they are ancient day supercomputers communicating with other pyramids all around the world, and their sound technology is so advanced it blow your mind. They line up with our planetary systems also. So one reason I think the Egyptians worship cats is because the Egyptians were frequency masters and they understood their healing power. Elizabeth von Muggenthaler, a specialist in the field of bioacoustics at the Fauna Communications Research Institute, measured and quantified the cat's purr. The average domestic cat purrs at a frequency of 25 to 150 hertz. Humans have a range of about 20 to 20,000 hertz, their ability to hear. So most of us can hear the purr, and then we can feel their vibrations. The cat's purr is unique in that it produces a multi-frequency. More recent research has shown that frequency between 20 and 50 hertz, which is in that cat purring range, increases bone density. Experiments have demonstrated the same frequency range will also relax stubbornly tense muscles. And a study conducted at the University of South Florida in 2011 found that exposure to 111 hertz, again in the purring range, has the potential to promote cellular regeneration and even alleviate pain. And the same South Florida study Suggested specific frequencies may help reduce inflammation, stress, and discomfort in the body. Recent medical studies have found healing benefits produced by playing the didgeridoo, from helping cases of sleep apnea to improving asthma management. And thanks to its low frequencies, the didgeridoo has been reported to provide relief to a wide range of joint, muscular, and skeletal related pain, as well as accelerated healing in various forms of bone trauma and muscle tears. And I will tell you, learning our software is way easier than learning how to play a didgeridoo. Okay, Pythagoras, a Greek philosopher, mathematician, and inventor, is credited for creating the monochord. Its vibrations are used to calm and re-energize the mind and the body. He taught harmonic healing and sound therapy. What? For balancing the four humors. It was a long time ago. I just think it's cool. He was doing sound therapy. So healing touch practitioners, like on the top left, this is a healing touch practitioner. She's doing Biofield tuning right there. And then Reiki practitioners underneath, they use a technique called hands-on healing, through which energy is transferred through the palms of the practitioner to the client. And then Qigong originates from China. It's used for balancing meridian frequencies. The name literally translates to vital energy or life force. Gregorian chants are often associated with spiritual and emotional healing. They promote relaxation and reduce anxiety. The sound waves act like a sonic massage, ridding the major energy centers in your body of blockages. In India, Vedic chants in the Om frequency, that is the Om symbol below with frequency emanating from it. And then you have Tibetan singing bowls at the bottom right, sometimes referred to as Himalayan. These can be struck and placed on the body like a tuning fork. And of course, the crystal singing bowls. If you've never had a sound bath, I highly recommend it. Just make sure the practitioner is highly trained, because you go there to relax. If your nervous system gets overstimulated, it would be the complete opposite of the Zen experience you're seeking. And I had that happen once. Like, I walked out of a sound bath and I was kind of a nervous wreck. It was a really waste of money and time. So our technology is designed to deliver gentle frequency to make subtle shifts over time, so you never have to worry about overstimulation. All of these vibrational modalities shown were created for the purpose of natural healing, and they are centuries old, except for the crystal bowls. They have their very own interesting history. And except for Qigong, they all incorporate sound. I think the case for sound healing is strong just based on ancient practices alone, but empirical evidence doesn't satisfy the hardcore skeptics. While physicians in ancient times knew enough from observational medicine to detect a connection between sound and healing, it wasn't until mankind developed the technology of the 21st century that we began to consistently take measurements of the powerful impact frequency has on our mind and our bodies. Nobel Prize winner Dr. Albert St. George said, "In every culture and in every medical tradition before ours, healing was accomplished by moving energy." How very special it is that we are here at this time in history and able to work with the most modern technologies available. Sometimes I just can't believe my life. I was like, is this really happening? It's really wonderful. So let's get back to the scientists and their work in quantum science. We started with Maxwell 150 years ago, but about 100 years ago, scientists began to discover some new things about how energy and matter behave, and that you don't even need audible sound to affect positive shifts in the energetic body field. So Max Planck made many contributions to theoretical physics, but his fame rests primarily on his role as an originator of quantum theory. He was a German theoretical physicist who discovered what is now called the Planck's constant in 1900. That work laid the foundation for quantum theory and won him the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1918. Are you a bit confused how frequency wellness support as a service was developed in the early 1900s? Yep. Today we're saying it's the cutting edge of complementary health modalities. It may just be that it took another 100 years to quantify by measurement that frequencies affect change. Therefore, since not quantifiable, it was snubbed by the scientific community. But it also appears to me this information was actively suppressed. When something shows promise and there are lots of people reporting changes, intellectual curiosity should be enough to excite those in the scientific medical community. So why didn't it stay in the forefront? It seems to coincide with the rise of the pharmaceutical industry in the early 1900s and the American Medical Association actively rooting out any what they called quack remedies. Of course, quackery would then be in the eye of the beholder, right? So they got to tell us what was worthy and what was not. Since 1901, the American Medical Association has historically played a significant role in shaping medical education in the United States. I have no way to identify how or why Andrew Carnegie was associated with the AMA, but it is known that the Carnegie Foundation was significantly involved with medical schools and their educational structure. Andrew Carnegie was an industrialist who became one of the wealthiest and most influential figures in the American steel industry during the late 19th century, known for his philanthropic activities. In 1908, only 7 years after the AMA got heavily involved in the medical educational system, the Carnegie Foundation commissioned Abraham Flexner to do a study on the state of healthcare in the US and Canada. Although Flexner had never set foot inside a medical school, he was their first choice to lead a study of the American medical education system. The Flexner report was then produced 2 years later, and it declared electromagnetism as an irregular science. It also dismissed other natural healing modalities. Medical schools that offered training in various disciplines, including osteopathic, chiropractic, eclectic medicine, naturopathy, and homeopathy, were told either to drop these courses from their curriculum or lose their accreditation underwriting support. These schools tried to resist, but eventually they complied, and just to keep their doors open. The aftermath of such a narrow approach to healthcare is still felt. As a result, doctors aren't taught biophysics or electromedicine in medical schools, so they simply don't know the extent of the multifaceted landscape of the human body. Furthermore, the financial infrastructure of healthcare has evolved in the past century away from being patient-centric. All that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, suppressed, only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. And as we know, truth always seems to find a way to the light of day. And talk about struggle. This guy went through it, and we owe him a lot. We'll get into his story, but let's first talk about how frequency devices work. Frequency is delivered to the body on an energy carrier. Typical carriers for frequency are either electricity or radio waves, also known as radionics. Radios, satellite, cell phones, Wi-Fi, radar, and sonar. These are all examples of using energy to carry information. There are many devices available that are frequency generating machines. A very common one you may have heard of is the Rife machine, created by Dr. Royal Rife in 1920. Dr. Rife found that every disease has a frequency. He also found that certain frequencies can prevent the development of disease, and that others would destroy diseases by destroying toxins, parasites, and bacteria. Simply think of disease or dis-ease as misinformation. It's a disharmony in the way the cells are communicating. The body has received an error of information and has moved away from its perfect blueprint frequency. Now to Dr. Rife. The University of Southern California appointed a special medical research committee to bring 1,000 terminal cancer patients from Pasadena County Hospital to Rife San Diego Clinic for treatment. The team included doctors and pathologists assigned to examine the patients when 90 days had passed. In only 3 weeks, 86.5% recovered fully. 13.5% of the patients required a little more treatment, and in 4 more weeks recovered fully. That made for a 100% recovery rate of the 1,000 people treated in just 120 days. The technology we use does contain all the right frequencies and a whole lot more. Am I saying our scanner will cure cancer? I definitely can't make that statement. I want to protect my business and the company I'm affiliated with. But I can tell you, all frequency providers are moved by helping others and bringing hope. Sometimes hope is the best gift you can give someone, and I like the odds that frequency wellness has demonstrated throughout history. It's safe, it's natural, it's affordable, and it works well with other treatment options that you may opt for. How can you go wrong? So what I just told you about Dr. Rife's accomplishments, really take that in. Full recovery from end-stage cancer for 1,000 patients. People they said were incurable. In the 1930s, like who else was doing that? And it had to have been considered an impressive feat because he was honored with 14 awards and given an honorary doctorate. So we know that this was the real deal. Sadly, after the unsuccessful attempt by pharmaceutical companies to buy out his research and equipment, his office was ransacked, his research paperwork was stolen, and the machine he used was destroyed. Do you recall I said perhaps since we didn't have the technology to quantify frequency results, that may be the reason electromagnetism was snubbed? For that reason, I'm going to give Flexner a little slack for not believing in biophysics since it was 1910 and the results cannot be scientifically quantified, only empirically observed. But I'm still suspicious of the motives of a large philanthropic organization who hires a non-medical person to evaluate the state of healthcare education, who subsequently creates a report that maligns not just electromagnetism, but other complementary modalities as well. Okay, the first frequency monitor in the world was built by Bruce Tanio in the 1990s. Bruce Tanio's machine allowed the mapping of our organs' frequencies. And interestingly enough, although each organ is dependent on the other organs, they each have their own optimal frequency range. The specific frequency representing a particular item is called its signature frequency. Every person on our planet has their very own personal frequency signature, as unique as your fingerprint. And I bet you feel even more special and unique now. We used to think we were little, our fingerprints, we couldn't believe nobody had the same ones, right? Tanio's frequency monitoring machine was certified as 100% accurate and is currently in use today. Our scanner can pick up internal organs that are not in balance and provide the optimizing frequencies. Using Easy Scan, you simply scan and allow the system to optimize you and you're done. You don't even have to sit there and wait while it processes and provides a report. Several other natural modalities for healing that come to mind are whole foods, essential oils, and crystals. What do these all have in common? Well, they all vibe high and they come from Mother Earth. They're not man-made. God is widely considered a great provisioner in many religious contexts, particularly in Christianity. The Holy Bible mentions God's provisioning in quite a few biblical passages. Nearly everyone who has studied nutritional health is aware of this passage. Genesis 1. Behold, I have given you every seed-bearing plant on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit contains seed. They will be yours for food. Regarding crystals, the Bible describes them in the context of God's creation and the beauty of his work. Ezekiel 28 mentions the king of Tyre being adorned with precious stones, including sardius, topaz, and diamond, among others. In Revelation 21, the New Jerusalem is described with walls adorned with various precious stones, including jasper, sapphire, agate, emerald, and onyx. I would like to think crystals and precious stones were appreciated for their special abilities, not just because they were beautiful to look at. Whether God gave them to us specifically for the healing properties, I have not come upon that information yet. If you had that, please provide it. But he certainly provides many other high vibrational natural things of the earth for healing. And when we measure the frequencies of these gems, they do vibrate at a level that correlates to what we now know are healing vibrations. I don't think there's a coincidence there. James 5. Is anyone among you sick? Let him call for the elders of the church and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. Essential oils help you heal faster because they carry the frequency of the plant. Yeah, the healing plants, God said, behold, I have given you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the earth. Isn't this fun? Everything's natural. Everything's awesome. We just need to get back in sync. Okay, and here is why it's so important to care for your central nervous system. These are the spine frequencies, and you can see how every vertebra has a frequency, what body parts are communicated with from this vertebra, and then the symptoms that arise when the frequency is off. And it's easy to pass frequency wellness off as a woo-woo concept, especially if you don't know the science behind it. It's not an esoteric concept because currently in medicine, diagnostic machinery is used that employs frequency to measure the activity in your body. So think of x-rays, MRIs, ultrasounds, EEGs, ECGs. Frequency therapies offered in medical institutions right now our TENS therapy, magnetic resonance therapy, pulsating electromagnetic field therapy, spectral analysis, and biofeedback. About 6 months ago in our Telegram testimonies page, one of our advocates posted that her client's mother was being treated in a cancer facility and they were using frequency as part of her recovery plan. And then last year, a member of mine told me at Easter, she told me that her rehab facility was using frequency to help her heal quicker after a knee surgery. She said, "Oh, I'm a believer." And she was like 80 years old. So it's like, that was really cool when I brought up what I did. And she's like, "I know what you're talking about." Now, here's an article I found while doing research for this talk. Scientists clear Alzheimer's plaque from mice using only light and sound. This is MIT. They are hardly a new age facility. So are you beginning to see the future of light, sound, scalar energy, and frequency medicine is moving full steam ahead? Albert Einstein said, concerning matter, we have been all wrong. What we have called matter is energy, whose vibration has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. Now, the theme of light has been woven into this whole talk, but wait for this doozy. Human beings emit elementary particles of light through chemical reactions in their bodies. These reactions occur when radicals interact with fats and proteins in cells, setting off a series of energetic reactions that involve fluorophores, which are molecules that give off photons. Scientists are now telling us that we are 99.99999% energy and light. We are all literally beings of light. So knowing this, why would we think we could not heal ourselves with sound, light, and vibrational frequency? Seems silly now. So light connects, it travels, it communicates throughout the universe, it awakens your cell communication using waves in the electromagnetic spectrum. All of us have a unique light inside of our bodies, literally a fingerprint of light and energy. When the light within us is bright and harmonious, our body is healthy and happy. But when the light within us is filled with chaos and confusion and clutter, then our body is unhealthy and unhappy. And yes, even thoughts and emotions can be brought into balance of frequency because thoughts are a frequency. Thoughts are a form of energy that can be described as waves. Yeah, you know that, brain waves. So when we think, our brains release chemicals and hormones that generate electrical signals in neurons, which then propagate as waves to thousands of other neurons. These electrical signals are a form of electromagnetic radiation, remember, light, that travel at the speed of light. Ever thought about someone and they end up calling or texting minutes later? It happens pretty often, right? That is your thought energy, your brain waves traveling at the speed of light through the quantum field and hitting its intended target. It bears repeating. Intention is the secret sauce to our work. Remember the double slit experiment? The observer controls the outcome. Thought emits vibration, and all living matter reacts to vibration. The puzzle pieces are truly coming together. Technology like this is super helpful, but will not solve the world's problems until consciousness shifts. And that brings us to the heart. The magnetic field of the heart is 100 times stronger than the magnetic field produced by the brain. You can measure the energy from the heart about 3 to 6 feet away from the body, and the brain about an inch away. We have our physical body, and as you go on out from there, you have your emotional body, then your mental body, and then your spiritual body. And all of those are contained in your biofield. We think our soul or our spirit is in our body, but our body is actually in our spirit because our spirit is way too big to be contained in this meat suit. And this perception we have of being separate is erroneous. We build mental constructs of separation. We do it to ourselves. There is no separation. We are all connected to one another. We are connected to all things, and how we think and what we think about is the most important thing to get right. Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Want to change your life? Then change the way you think. Change the way you think, and your vibration increases. Increase your vibration, and all kinds of synchronistic events start happening. For me, I've found it easier to express gratitude now in up and down times. I find it easier to see God working everywhere, to see perfection and divinity in everything. And it's just way more fun to live this way. I have done a lot of personal development work in my life, starting probably about the age of 28. I came across that topic and just started consuming it ravenously. I love the way it felt to just, grow and become a better person today than I was yesterday. But I find the scanner just immensely helps you to make like quantum leaps in your vibrational state. And I don't know really exactly how to explain it, but while it's working on your physical, it's working on your emotional and your mental. It's like it's like holistic. We'll just say that, right? It's like holistically working on you all at once. All right, now who's going to argue with Albert Einstein? Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. I think that's so cool. He had to have said that like in the mid 60s or something. The overarching goal by working on energy realignment is for the body to naturally restore its information system and return to normal metabolic function. Sometimes this can be a once and done, like we sometimes see for acute pain issues, but you should really think in terms of lifestyle, just as you do with healthy eating or exercise. Getting one chiropractic adjustment in your life won't keep your spine healthy. And working out at the gym for one day is not going to build your muscles. Eating healthy every once in a while is not going to get it either. So for that reason, we highly recommend you make the choice every day to clear your biofield, check in with the frequencies of your internal body systems daily, or at least weekly, and tune into what your inner voice report wants to share daily. Before I get into the features of the technology we use, I have a quick question for you. Any idea who made this statement? Frequency intervention on a cell is 100 times more effective than chemical intervention. It's this guy. You might recognize Bruce Lipton. He's a cell biologist who wrote a book called The Biology of Belief. He is considered the father of epigenetics and highly regarded in certain circles. When asked by a crystal singing bowl practitioner how effective he believes frequency is, that was his response. That's a truly powerful statement. He understands frequency works without anything getting in the way. It's instantaneous receipt of frequency to the vagus nerve and instantaneous communication to the brain and then to the body, far different than the inefficiency of taking medicine and having to break it down and then metabolize and excrete it. No negative side effects either. I will close with a brief introduction to the technology we use to help our clients. If you want to explore deeper, the person who invited you to this call can share more with you. I want to also make you aware, Ms. Connie Rose, as I said earlier, has a presentation on May 15th. I'll show you that flyer at the end, and she will go into much greater detail. The software is called AOScan Mobile, and the company that created it is Solex. The scanner software is their flagship product. They knew it could not be sold from store shelves, so they decided to create a structure where people can use their tools to improve their own lives with the business opportunity available, should one want to go beyond the customer level and begin sharing with others. AOScan contains technologies inspired by discoveries from Tesla, Madame Curie, Einstein, and many other renowned scientists. It is designed to communicate with the body via subtle biofrequencies and electromagnetic signals. It uses bioresonance, sound, and scalar energy. AOScan has compiled a database of over 170,000 unique blueprint frequencies and developed a handheld technology that allows you to compare your personal frequencies with these blueprints to gently guide you back to your body's natural state. It incorporates radionics, contains the frequencies of the Bach flowers, has all the right frequencies, 74 tuning fork frequencies, 94 essential oil frequencies, and also uses the technology similar to HemiSync, which means instead of years and years of reading affirmations to yourself, You can record them and have them play back to you at different hertz in both ears, converging onto the center of your brain for quick acceptance of the information into your subconscious mind. That right there is biohacking the brain. Incorporated into the scanner is a module that can go through your entire body and let you know of any imbalances in any organ systems. No need to worry when you see the imbalances. You hit scan, it will optimize your body right in that moment. One of the greatest tools in our software is a module called Inner Voice. It receives 10 seconds of information from your speaking voice, runs a scan comparing 24,000 frequencies in your voice to the perfect blueprint frequencies, points out the imbalances in your emotional body, and then provides the counterbalancing harmonics to bring you back into emotional homeostasis. It will record 3 notes or octaves from the musical scale that are excessively out of balance, what we call overcompensated, as well as the main octave that is being suppressed. It will then generate 4 audio files that correspond to each of the balancing octaves outlined in the report. Those are emailed to you, as well as we separately include a short video to help you understand how to read your report. Now, I will tell you right now, you do not have to go that extra step and learn how to read your report. The work that's being done is the listening. That's going to get you where you want to be. Now, if you just love this and you want to learn more, great. We love that you want to learn more, and we provide the education. But if you just listen to what we send you, listen to it daily, as often as you can, and then we like to catch up with you like in a week or so and see how it's going. You will notice some wonderful shifts in your life. This technology has been around for at least 30 years. Definitely not as lush as it is today. We have so many modules now. They just keep releasing new things. Lauren Swenson, he's the owner, was selling it back in the day. He was selling it to functional medicine doctors, naturopaths, and chiropractors, but in an entirely different type of delivery service. And it was under his other company name. It was heavy. It was bulky. The equipment costs like 35 to 38,000, depending on what kind of accessories you put on it. So you can see why he was marketing it to large firms and offices. And then something significant happened in the tech world in 2017. You might recall what that was if you're a techie. That was when Windows 10 came out, and that changed a lot of things. Lauren made the decision to invest a lot of money in software developers. It took 2.5 years before the scanner software could work on the new Windows 10 platform. But the cool thing was that allowed it to be accessed from a portable device. So now Lauren's dream was coming true, that every home can now have access to this life-changing technology. So AO Scan was now portable, easy to use, and affordable for the average household. It's your wellness center first resort, something you can access 24/7, not just help yourself, but help many others. With one account, you can have multiple client profiles. So that means you can help yourself, your family, your friends, and we do encourage you to help as many people as possible. You can even broadcast to multiple people at one time thanks to a new module called Multicast. Up to 16 people in your family you can work on at one time. It's really mind-boggling. Solex believes in a holistic approach to health and also carries a line of high-vibing whole food nutritional products, high-tech nanoparticle nutritional supplements, and their Infinity line of quantum energy tools, all designed to impact your electromagnetic body positively through different approaches. There's so many different kinds of frequency medicine you can do. So how can frequency medicine transform your life? You're an energetic being that exists on many different levels. You exist on the physical, mental, emotional, and the spiritual level. These different levels are merely different energetic aspects of who you are, different energetic densities. Most of us only see and perceive ourselves on the physical level because this is the densest level, as Einstein was telling us. The state of your health is very much a reflection of how efficiently these various parts of you are connected and are able to communicate. If you have an efficient connection of all the parts and stability and harmony among the parts, you will be in a state of coherence. This state of coherence will confer a higher vibratory state, and this higher vibratory state is conducive with deep healing, abundance, prosperity, elevation of your consciousness, and living your best life. Our daily lifestyle choices can have a big impact on the brightness of our light. AO Scan simply has been developed to help remove the chaos and the clutter that is blocking organized and harmonious light. AOScan first assesses the chaos and the clutter, and then secondly, harmoniously optimizes the light within us. Daily assessing and optimizing enables each of us to be our very best self. AOScan is quite simply an impactful way to manage your daily health care. And Albert Einstein said the future of medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. I believe the future is now. So my only question is, are you ready? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate everybody's time and attention. If you can't stay for the Q&A portion of our call, please get back to the person that invited you with any questions you have. So we'll go ahead and turn the recording off now and